Right edition, welcome, happy day. I want to tell you a story about the three little pigs. Are you with me? A teacher was reading the story of the three little pigs to her class. She came to the part of the story where the first pig was trying to gather the building materials for his house, right? She read, and so the pig went up to the man with a wheelbarrow full of straw and said, "Pardon me, sir, but may I have some of that straw to build my house?" The teacher paused and then asked the class, "And what do you think the man said?" One little boy raised his hand finally and said, very matter-of-factly, I think the man would have said, "Well, I'll be damned, a talking pig." Okay then, let's get out of some real business here in the world of politics. Hey, I mean, what's right and what's left? Let's talk about it. The Kelowna International Airport in Canada, they're kind of like council, they're kind of like, I'll get it. So many other councils in so many different cities are all left-wing. They went out by the airport just the other day and they bought a golf course, okay? I mean, it might be the last thing they need, but they said someday the airport's going to want to expand and we want to own that land just in case, kind of, sort of, maybe. And the guy that runs the airport said, we don't need this for a long, long time. In fact, for the foreseeable future, we don't need it. And of course, the mayor of Kelowna came back and said, hey, it's cheap now. It's only $5.5 million. So we're going to buy it just in case and we'll run it. I mean, these guys are always buying something. Not a day goes by when they haven't bought something or they're looking at something to buy, because that's socialism at work. And again, so many cities are doing that. Cities place is not to do that, obviously. But so many people in government, they think if they go out and spend the people's money and run a business as a government, that's free enterprise. I mean, talk about warped. Wow, Jason Kenney in Canada, he's fighting back now because an interesting thing happened the other day. The defense minister in Canada, he was born in India and he's accented and he's hard to understand. And he made some kind of comment in the House of Commons about, hey, English is English, speak English or something like that. And people right away, people from the left said, you're a bigot. They always do that, the bigot card. I mean, what he really said was, I don't understand you. Kind of simple stuff. Speak English, don't you know? And the guy doesn't do it very well. He might be a great soldier. He might be a lot of things, but his command of the English language, according to Kenney, isn't that great. But it does bring up another kind of interesting topic. Here's a guy born and raised in India, and now he's in charge of the armies in Canada. What would happen if Canada declared war in India? What would happen with that? I mean, really? I don't think that's fair. I guess I'm a bigot now too, right? Actually, I thought I was a patriot because I happen to be Canadian, and I'd like to know that whoever is in charge of the Canadian Armed Forces is a Canadian as well. I mean, come on, it's kind of like the North and South back in the Confederate days of the Union. So many people went over to this side and that side because that's where they were from. I lived in New York for 20 years, but you know what, I'm from Georgia, so I'm gonna go fight for the South. It happened, and it continues to happen, and you got a guy in charge of all of our guns over here in Canada from another country. Duh, David Suzuki, he's from another country, isn't he? I'm not even sure about that, but he's Canadian, I guess. And he says that Stephen Harper should be thrown in jail because he did such a bad thing when he was in charge of the government in Canada with regards to the environment. Suzuki, he's got this little thing. He goes out and hugs trees every 20 minutes and he talks big and he makes a lot of money. Environment stuff, climate change stuff is just another big business. Billions of dollars are made every hour by people like him who really don't do anything except live off the backs of the public, off the taxpayers, because everything is by way of government grant. Hey, you gotta hug another tree now, and you know what, there's a star gonna hit us next month. I need more money to research that. I mean, this guy, he says I was gonna book a one-way ticket to Mars if the Conservatives were re-elected. I wish they would have been, so I could have watched that ticket being bought, because guys like him, they just suck everything away from the taxpayers and they don't give anything back except grief. Because that's pretty much it. Climate change, good bloody grief. All that's really changed here is my money's got into his pocket. Oh, that's a socialist thing though, isn't it? The redistribution of wealth or something like that. That's kind of right. Alcohol consumption in Canada, and that's going to be me pretty soon when I hear about the Suzukis and all these other crazy guys. I feel like drinking again with both hands. But I want to share with you there's 4,000 deaths a year in Canada because of booze. 230 of them are caused by poisoning of alcohol. Alcohol consumption by Canadians annually is at an all-time high. It's close to 80%. 3,000 babies are born in Canada with fetal alcohol syndrome every year. That's kind of bad stuff. But on the other hand, you know what? You got to be free to do what you do. I mean, it's all about rights as well. Why did the government do this study? What are they going to do with that information? Let me tell you something. Gun deaths, or deaths by guns, nowhere close to this. And they're trying to get rid of guns every day. I haven't heard them ever say they're going to get rid of booze. Hey, y'all come back tomorrow. We're going to more for you from the right. See ya.